So I was asked to do another discussion and video demonstration on French polishing method. And so I thought I would use this octave mandolin I'm working on. I had just done, probably about an hour ago, the initial leveling and wet sanding. Prior to that, I had done probably about 8 sessions of building, just building up the shellac. Did the wet sanding, and then I'm going to be doing another French polishing build up phase. So I'm not going to chit chat too much about it, but again, I have my preferred olive oil, and then I have a 1 pound cut of shellac mixed, and it's a fresh mix of shellac, and then I just have some denatured alcohol in this jar. I already have the same pad that I've been using for this whole process. I like to, if it hasn't worn through, keep using that. And then I have, this is just the application pad I use to wipe on shellac. So again, when you're not using denatured alcohol or shellac, keep the lid on it. And then I use just one of these pipettes. And right now, I'm just gonna do the backboard for this demonstration. Right now, I'm just putting some of the shellac onto this cloth without the pad on the inside. And I'm basically going to just kind of just working lines with the grain. And I'm always gonna start up here, just whatever side, it doesn't really matter. And this is basically to get shellac on to the instrument. Again, I'm looking for, I don't know if you can really see it from there, but at different light angles, I can look and see kind of like this vapor trail of where I've been, then it kind of just gases off and disappears. You don't have to be exactly overlapping each pass you do, but it should be pretty close. And then always remember to do the edges. That's how I try to finish each time I go over. Usually a bigger bodied instrument like this octave mandolin or guitar, by the time you work your way across, this will have gassed off enough and be dried. But with a 1 pound cut, just because it's not as viscous, it can still be a little tacky. So maybe if that's the case, depending on your workshop environment situation, you could add some denatured alcohol to thin it out a little bit. But this feels pretty good to me. So I'm gonna add a little bit more. You know what, I actually am gonna add some denatured alcohol just to be on the thinner side of. What you'll then be able to do is actually more quickly apply shellac and kind of do quicker repetitions across the instrument. Because it's not as thick, it's gonna gas off more quickly and be dry to the touch. So again, you can see it's pretty quick, back and forth. And again, this is all just, I'm just gonna show you real time like what I would do if I wasn't recording this. So this is the exact way I would go. And so that actually still feels a little tacky to me. So with that, I'm gonna actually not add shellac this time, but I'm gonna add denatured alcohol. And just kind of use it's still tacky. So if this is still tacky like it is, what I do is, well, there's plenty of other instrument to work on. So I'll maybe go to the headstock and just kind of do the same method of just kind of lightly going up and down. Again, remember, you never want to just stop on the instrument with the pad, because that's just gonna stick straight to the instrument and then leave a spot you're gonna have to go over and sand and level and just kind of be a tacky mess. So again, don't forget the edges of the headstock. But that's, again, the beauty of using shellac and French polishing is if it's easy to repair or fix. Like, let's say you go and wet sand and you forgot to really pay special attention to the edging, you're gonna sand through it, but you could more easily than a nitro or spray finish, you can go and touch it up with shellac. So I'm gonna put a little bit more. Shellac. And again, it comes with experience, knowing how much shellac of the 1 pound cut and how much to dilute it. And again, everybody's workshop environment, temperature, humidity might be a little bit different, or where you live in the country. I'm in Virginia, kind of central Virginia near the Blue Ridge Mountains. And it's, you know, mid-September, so that's a pretty good time to try to French polish. I've noticed certain times of the year are better than other times. Or it's just different. I guess not better, it's just different things you have to be aware of. I know that French polishing probably seems like a lot of work, but again, I kind of find it relaxing and meditative and a rewarding process, and it doesn't involve a spray booth or all these other things that you would need with other methods. It's a very portable method of finishing, which I like, because I can, if I have other stuff to do after I do this session of French polishing, I can just, you know, move this to a part of the house that's clean, dust free, and so forth. And I think it's, tonal wise, I think it's better for instruments, to be honest. All right, so I'm just gonna, I would say that's enough as far as building up some shellac. So now I'm gonna switch over to the pad I've been using. And that's just, again, it has this little ball of fabric, and this goes on the outer. I'm gonna load the pad with some of the 1 pound cut, and then maybe some denatured alcohol to thin it out a little bit. Again, never hold it over the instrument. Now, what I'm gonna do next, this is when I put just a little bit of the olive oil over. And so the purpose of this next step is we've applied shellac, and now we're wanting to kind of mix it all in together and polish it. And so the denatured alcohol is going to help dissolve the shellac in the pad and dissolve what we've put down. And then the oil acts as a lubricant, and then you kind of just basically polish it all out and create one smooth finish. So I'm gonna start over here just because, why not? You can start anywhere. I'm just gonna work the perimeter and then kind of spiral my way into the center of the instrument. You never want to put the pad onto the instrument without it being in motion, otherwise it'll just, again, burn right through whatever finish you've done. You guys want to be doing overlapping circles. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I can see a little bit of that vapor trail gassing off. Sometimes you might have to move around depending on your lighting. Applying pretty light pressure, not super hard. If you do a super hard pressure with the circular motion, you're just gonna be dragging shellac and stuff around, and basically just drawing circles with shellac, which I feel like I've probably spent many hours doing without realizing. Alright, so now I'm just working the edge a little bit. As you can see, it doesn't take a whole lot. And again, I'll repeat this process for the sides, the neck, and the soundboard. So I'd say about each session I do for the whole instrument is like about an hour per session, maybe. Which, I don't know. Sometimes I'll choose it as like the first thing I do when I come to the workshop in the morning, because I feel like it kind of warms my brain up to being in the workshop, and it's kind of a good way to start the day. And then I'll do maybe a session middle of the day, and then maybe right before I'm done in the workshop for the day. So 2 to 3 a day, I guess, is the goal. Now I'm just looking for any spots I might have missed. When I did the wet sanding prior to this, it was 1500 grit, and I kept just a dish, not a dish, a little bowl with like warm soapy water. And then I wipe the water off as I sand. It's a super light sanding, and there's not a whole lot of, with the shellac finish, it's not like a super deep finish like nitro or something where you have a little, you can be a little more aggressive. All right, so right now I'm just kind of like burnishing it, and it's kind of getting tacky, but if you keep moving quickly, you won't have any issue. I always make sure to go over each end of the instrument. You never want to like stop short here, because then you're gonna just, again, the pad will get stuck and burn through what you've just done. So well, it's always, I always think it's pretty cool how you can apply a finish this way and get a really nice result. All right, so I would say that's good for that session for the backboard. I'll hold it into the light. Let's see if you can really see. You can see. I mean, that's not even like polished yet as far as like using polishing compounds. That's just basically what I just showed you in the video is all I've done with it, and it's already pretty glossy. So let's see. Anyway, I'm gonna repeat that process with the sides, soundboard, and neck, and just kind of keep the momentum going. Hopefully this helped a little bit. If it was helpful and you want to see more videos like this, hit subscribe, leave comments, questions, and I'll help you as much as I can kind of figure out how to get this method down to finishing. I think it's a great way to finish an instrument. All right, thanks.